All right, welcome back to the Bold North Sports Podcast. Today I'm alongside Cam. So what episode is this, Cameron? Like 16?
It's episode 16, yeah. Uh-huh.
Big win down in Atlanta. How we doing today, Cam?
Today is full of so many smiles. Josh Dobbs. Oh my gosh. I love you so much. I love Jaron Hall too, and it's sad that he got hurt because he actually was putting together a pretty good drive right away. But Josh Dobbs came in, played really well today. I mean, it was a little shaky start, had a fumble, had an interception, but came in down 28 to 24, leads a game-winning drive. Absolutely love it, especially for a guy who just got here like 5 days ago.
Like, he did come here 5 days ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's not really much to say. I mean, we didn't really expect anything. You can't expect anything. Mm-hmm. And we got this. Now it's round 2 next week against the Saints without Kirko. Want to know without it, but I miss Kirk already.
You could tell right away. And I miss Kirk right away. I mean, just seeing...
Because I think if Kirk plays in that game, we win by a lot more than we did.
Sure.
I mean, the last-minute drive, but I feel like the Atlanta secondary isn't very good other than A.J. Terrell. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, like, Jeff Okudah's not very good. And then their other safety, Jesse Bates, is good, but their other safety isn't very good. Mm-hmm. And Kirk would have exploited their weaknesses, but he wasn't obviously playing.
Yeah. Kirk could have done this, Kirk could have done that, but main focal point is just Dobbs coming in and absolutely having a really, really well put together second half.
Yeah, the first half was bad. When he first came in and then he got the safety and then, the interception, I'm like, yeah, well, 2 wins down this stretch is very likely. Mm-hmm. But then he put it together and you can tell that he's not, like, this isn't his first playing of the year. Like, you can tell he's already played in Arizona just because he wasn't very rusty. Because, like, the first 3 drives you can give him, like, whatever he does. Even if he throws 3 interceptions on 3 throws, like, you can't be mad because he's been here for 5 days and the playbook's completely different. Mm-hmm. So you can't really judge it. But I felt like he did good in the second half. The first half was bad.
Yeah, well, he just needed to get used to just coming in and just kind of getting, I don't know about jitters out of the way, but just had to warm up a little bit,
No team jitters. You could say jitters.
I mean, he probably doesn't know many guys on the team, and that'll be a next week problem, obviously, and a solution.
You've seen that, too, on Twitter?
Yeah.
They said that. Like, he doesn't even know people's first names.
No, yeah.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm. And, like, the way that O'Connell had to bring in plays today was like he literally had to map out and tell him, like, this guy's doing this and this and this. And that's why the play clock got so low a lot of the times. And he just was like, sure, and visualized it and saw it. And it was just insane how he was able to do that.
I think it's going to be that way the next couple of weeks, even if it's Hall or Dobbs, because they don't really know this offense like Kirk does, because nobody's run this offense in 6 years other than Kirk Cousins up to this date. So It's kind of hard to tell, but I think that the play clock's going to be down, and you can't really be mad at that because the quarterbacks are still trying to find their feet in this offense. Mm-hmm. And this isn't an easy offense to learn overnight either.
No, not at all. I think Kevin O'Connell coached a really, really well game today. I think probably one of his best of the year.
I mean, this has got to go back on Kevin O'Connell, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, your third quarterback that's been here for 4 days, and you're winning a game with him. Like, this has got to go down as probably O'Connell's best coached game in his tenure.
Technically, the 4th quarterback you have had, because Nick Mullins is 2 and Hall was 3, and now Dobbs is technically 4. And Akers was the emergency guy too. So you've already lost, 4 of your 5. Potential quarterbacks, mm-hmm. and Dobbs is your only solution. And, a
good solution at that for this week.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't – the thing with me is the negative side's going to come out again, but you can't get too high on this because next week he can play terrible.
Yeah.
And the week after that he can play terrible. So it's like, yeah, it's awesome that we won. Like, take the highs, but, like, you can't expect this every week because he played 2 awesome quarters. Like, you can't expect that from – a guy you got for nothing.
Right. I think now going forward into the season, I think Hall will be back after a week, I would say.
I don't think he plays next week just because you're not going to want to rush him back, especially if you're expecting him to play in a couple of weeks. Like, you're not, like, let him go down and that. I'm sorry, I kind of...
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, he's not going to be able to practice much next week. He has to rehab, and so he's just not going to be able to be involved in the game plan like Dobbs is going to be able to.
And, I mean, you can't not play Dobbs after what he did in the second half,
yeah.
in my opinion. Like,
yeah.
he can't come in here on however many days. I mean, I know he keeps saying it, but it's just impressive, if anything, of what he was able to do. You can't take him out.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to have a whole week of comfortability, and as of we know, Jettis is going to be back. So that's another big thing of that helps him a lot. Either Hall or Dobbs. Jefferson being back helps a ton.
Yeah.
Like, you can't overstate that. Like, that's huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be real nice when he gets Jefferson back, Darisaw, assuming. Davenport back on the defense will be nice.
When's he come back?
He was placed on IR the same time as
No, a week later.
Was it a week later? Okay.
I think so. Actually, he got hurt in Carolina game. No, he got hurt in the Chicago game.
Bryson, look that up.
No, he got hurt in the Chicago game.
Davenport.
I was at the Chicago game. I remember him getting off on a cart.
Oh,
yeah, he was at the Chicago game, so he's a week behind Jefferson.
Okay.
So he's a week behind, so that'll be... Who do we play after the Saints? Bye?
Broncos.
Yep.
So bye, then the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
So we go Saints bye, right? Or Saints Broncos?
This is...
Saints Broncos.
This was week 9, right?
Yeah, because we're 5 and 4.
Saints Broncos Bears bye.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, our bye's week 13, so...
Oh, really? Wait, so there's another game in there then?
Saints, Broncos, Bears.
Bye.
Yeah.
So, okay. So we play
10,
the
11,
Bears
12.
again. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm scared. Onto the sweat.
That was a big contract that the Bears gave him, and I laughed at that.
I just don't think they're going to be ready by when that contract's like fully in. They're not going to be competing.
Mm-hmm. I didn't understand that, but
this isn't a Bears podcast.
This is not a Bear Down podcast. But yeah, I think that Dobbs will start next week, regardless of Hall's health. And I think it's just because Hall's not going to be in. I mean, they're all not going to be in on Monday. But Tuesday...
No, they'll be in on Monday.
They'll be on Monday,
no
Tuesday they're off.
Wednesday...
Wednesday...
Dobbs will probably be there Tuesday.
Yeah, Wednesday's the most important part of the week for a team. So I think Hall's not going to be ready to take reps by then. So it'll be Dobbs, and I'm fine with that. I'm confident in Dobbs after what he's shown today, and he can only get better and learn more of the offense this coming week, especially since he learned so little in, I wouldn't say so much in so little time, but definitely enough to get a game like this and come in, not expecting to come in. You wouldn't think that Jaren Hall would get hurt his second drive.
Wasn't it his first drive?
No, I think it was his.
Oh yeah, second drive. We went 3 and out. That's right. Mm-hmm. I will say with Hall and Dobbs, their ability to run is something new to this offense. Mm-hmm. So we've never been able to see that because Kirk's just a packet passer and he just beats you with his accuracy and his arm strength.
Yeah.
So that's something to look at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really cool to see, especially, that one play that he escaped on, and then the touchdown run that Dobbs had was so cool. And, of course, the 4th and 7 that he had. I was holding my breath that entire play.
There's got to be some luck involved in both of those plays.
Do you know how much luck has been against us this year? We deserve a pinch.
Two people to tear their Achilles.
Yeah.
Just everything is going downhill.
Mm-hmm.
We're referring to Cam Akers. Back-to-back weeks we lose starting players with Achilles injuries, which sucks. Mm-hmm. Especially with Akers, because he was starting to get his opportunities more and more every week, and then he tears his Achilles again, which sucks.
Yeah.
But now we got to go to a new running back, probably Ty Chandler, hopefully, gets more carries, and then either go sign a person, AP, reunion, or the guy we got on the practice squad, Dwayne McBride. Be curious to see what they do with that.
Yeah.
Obviously, last week we were in the same position, and they all said ankle injury, and that's what they said with Akers. And we found out Tuesday morning that he tore his Achilles. So
Oh, Kirk, yeah.
I'm sure we'll get the same news. Hopefully not, because I like Akers. I think me and you both think that the Akers trade's an A+ for us right now, even though they're not using him, which sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Ty Chandler, if it were the case where Akers gets, the confirmation that he did tear his Achilles, it's going to be Chandler. Kane coming back will have to play more of a running back kind of role rather than his kick returning role. Being involved in screen passes and just needing his speed in those kind of situations. But the run blocking today wasn't the greatest. I mean, the Falcons have a pretty solid front seven, and you got to respect that. Some of it may have been due to Madison's vision or, anything as far as his speed or his, not being able to get out of the backfield like Akers can. But I think the offensive line struggled a lot for the run today. Pass, they were pretty solid without Darrisaw. I think Quessenberry played pretty well.
So why is it Quessenberry and not Brandel?
Because Brandel, I guess, is a guard now, I guess. They kicked him inside this year.
That kind of makes us look dumb for what we did on Tuesday, trading Cleveland, because Cleveland's natural position is left tackle.
Yeah, but...
And then you trade him away, and Darrisaw's...
You can't predict trades.
I know,
you can't predict injuries.
I'm just saying, it wouldn't have been, even if Brando's moved into a guard, it wouldn't have been a dumb idea to move Cleveland to be your backup left tackle. Even though Quessenberry's decent, but still, if it keeps him on the roster, then why not? But I think he'll play in Jacksonville, which is good.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
They are fighting.
Yeah, I think that Quessenberry played well today. I think Garrett Bradbury struggled quite a lot today. Reisner didn't really pay much attention to. Brian O'Neill always plays really well. Ed Ingram held his own for the most part, I would say. But the offense, I mean, do you want to move into the positives? I mean,
sure, we can move into the positives.
Okay, who do you want to start with?
Probably Brandon Powell.
I was thinking about that, but
You kind of have to. I mean, he had some big plays, especially when KJ went down, which was scary.
Yeah.
And we didn't even mention that KJ got hurt. Everybody's getting hurt. We're cursed. And, for some reason, we keep coming back, which is awesome to see. But it's, can we get 1 year? I mean, every team probably says that. Why can't we get 1 year without an injury or something bad happening? Because it seems like every year something highlights the season that's negative.
Mm-hmm.
Like last year, Ed Donashell. This year, Kirk's injury.
Yeah. Clearly, the Met, the Dome, U.S. Bank, anything. Clearly, they were built on some sort of ancient burial ground because I feel we are just cursed.
Well, the Metrodome and U.S. Bank were built on the same grounds.
Yeah.
And, I could see that. Or even Target Field, too, because nothing's good happens there.
Yeah, I don't know. So... But KJ, he got knocked.
Dirty play by Okuda. I just don't get, because I know in college there's a targeting rule, but I don't get how he can stay in the game. He obviously did that on purpose.
Oh yeah.
You can't tell me he's going to the ground and Okuda drops his head. You can't tell me that Okuda's not thinking of doing that. I'm sorry if you disagree, but you're wrong because KJ was going to the ground and already getting tackled, and Okuda just came in there. I mean, that should be targeting. I mean, the guy from Denver, that Kareem Jackson, isn't that the safety?
Yeah.
He got kicked out for hitting that Luke Musgrave of the Packers. How does 1 week it changes? It's with every officiating thing. What we ran into in the Chiefs game, how that happened, where they took his helmet off and it was called a flag earlier, but it's not. There's a lot of officiating stuff they need to work on, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard. It was hard to watch for sure, and obviously you're going to defend your player.
But he was out cold.
Oh, he was right when he got hit. He just boom
right away. Right away. Was I the only one? I thought it was Hawkinson right away.
No,
for some reason, because Hawkinson usually runs those routes where he's in the middle by the hash marks.
Yeah.
And then I just seen him lying there, and I couldn't really tell who it was. I just seen their cleats and their socks, and I'm like, oh, it's Hawkinson, which is terrible. I mean. This is going to sound terrible, but if it was Hawkinson, that's a much bigger loss than KJ.
Yeah.
Because, all due respect to Johnny Munt and Josh Oliver, they don't bring the I don't know what the word is.
Yeah, they don't
juice compared to Hawkinson, where we have guys like Powell and I guess N'Keal Harry and Tristan Jackson for receivers.
Yeah, like you look at Hawkinson, he's a threat. He's labeled as a threat. You look at Johnny Munn and Josh Oliver, they're not so much of the pass catchers of that TJ Hawkinson has, and so. But you look at guys like the receivers that played today, and like I was very surprised when I saw N'Keal Harry in there, and then Tristan Jackson, and then Brandon Powell, and I mean it's just guys step up and guys do not give up. I mean at the start of the season, a lot of fans were like, "Hey, we don't do a good job of creating depth for this team," and there's a lot of depth on this team and a lot of guys who can really step up and make a difference.
Yeah, this team is very deep, and I think we've seen that the last couple of weeks, especially like in the receiver room because Jefferson being hurt, and then like in the Niners game, Addison went out for a little bit. Like we're seeing the depth of the receiver room, which is great to see because when you don't have Jefferson, you think that everything's going to go downhill, but we're 4-0 without Jefferson, the best player in football.
Yeah.
And he's not even playing, and we've won 4 straight, which is crazy to think about. I mean, is it, like, if you look at it now, is it not a terrible thing that he went on IR?
No, it's not, because I think, like what we said last week, I think that O'Connell really had to figure out a different game plan, and because his first option was always Jefferson, which of course it should be. It has to be.
Yeah.
But now he's got to figure out a way like, okay, I got to create new plays to get all of our guys equal amount of attention and try to set up plays for different guys. And I think also, along with it, the emergence of Addison being forced into that spot and having to be that guy has really helped out a lot.
I honestly, wow.
Wow, Bryce Young is horrible.
Wow. That's his second intercept. That's his second, Kenny Moore's second pick six.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow, they are bad.
Jeez.
We're cutting out here, but Bryce Young is terrible. I really don't much to say. They should bench him for Cam Mansky at this rate because I think Cam can make better reads than that because he just threw that right into the 2-3 of the wrong color jersey.
That was a screen pass, too. Jeez.
Wow.
I get it. He was trying to get over Quiddy
Josh
Pay
Dobbs
there,
clears.
Wow. They're gonna be haunted by taking him over C.J. Stroud for the rest.
Well, what C.J. Stroud do today? 470?
Yeah.
470 and like 4?
470 and 5 touchdowns.
That's crazy.
But like I was saying, right,
yeah.
O'Connell has to prepare a game plan for guys who are not named Justin Jefferson, and
which I think has helped him grow as a coach and has helped Addison grow. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I think like when guys like Jefferson go out, like you really know like the fate of your team because like when you have a guy like Jefferson, you always are like, well, he's never gonna be untouchable. Like he'll always be there and stuff. And like hamstring injuries linger, so I wouldn't be surprised if if this is his only IL stint or IR stint, and he misses a couple more games down the stretch because of it. But now we've seen life without Jefferson, so it's gonna help us. Like, not as bad as because like the Bears game, we were all worried, even though we had Kirk, which is like now if you think about it, going into the Bears game, it's like a whole different ball game now that Kirk's out. Because is that okay?
What?
Why are you making the facial?
Oh, because some guy from the Giants got hit in the legs and he like almost flipped over and landed on like his head.
I mean, like this says bad, but I think you can disagree with me. But I think that Kirk is more valuable to this team than Jefferson is.
Right now, yeah.
I mean, I really do think so because we went on a 4-game heater without Jefferson.
Yeah.
And when you have Kirk, you like for 3 of the 4 games you had Kirk, so it was a lot easier to think you were gonna win. Like going into the day, I don't know about you, I didn't think we were gonna win. I had like no expectations just because you can't. Like we said last episode, like Jaron Hall, you couldn't have any expectations for him, let alone Josh Dobbs. Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody thought Josh Dobbs was even gonna play today.
Yeah.
And look what he did.
Yep. I had the same mentality. I was like, well, whatever happens today, it's win or lose, we'll be all right. And coming out with a win, it's great, especially in the fashion that it was. I mean, that was the craziest game I've seen. It's definitely top 5 in Vikings games that I think have just been absolutely insane all game around. I mean, so many fumbles and interceptions and crazy extension of plays. And then rookie quarterback gets hurt, and journeyman Josh Dobbs comes in, and
they said today this is his 8th team he's been on.
Yeah,
that's insane to think about. And he's I guess you got to give him props, because even like we said, I don't think he's going to be here next year, but wherever he goes next, if you're a team that's signing him, you have to see what he's done over his career. He's went to a bad Cardinals team and beat the Cowboys, and he's played decently. Now this is his best chance to show people who he truly is, because this offense around him is loaded, and he's got a good offensive line. Finally, we've been saying that forever, and we finally got a decent offensive line. So this is his chance to, if he would ever get a quote-unquote big contract, this would be off of this stint in Minnesota, in my opinion. But I still think that Josh Dobbs should still be the backup, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just because Jaren Hall, you have to see what you have in him.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess you could think differently, but that's how I feel. How do you feel?
Next week it's going to be Dobbs for sure. After that, I think you can probably... because it kind of depends. If Dobbs puts up another game like he did today, you kind of have to go with the better hand, regardless of Hall's injury. But
I feel like they'll do this. So Dobbs, I think right now, will get it till the bye week. I think that Dobbs, if he keeps playing like this, he'll obviously get it to the bye week, and that's where they may consider changing it back to Hall. But it's a week-by-week league, so that's the biggest thing. Next week, we touched on, Jaren Hall probably won't play, or he'll be the backup. So then, after the bye, if you feel more comfortable in Hall and what he brings compared to Dobbs, then you kind of got to turn to him, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also they're probably going to have to bring in another quarterback, potentially. Because if Hall's not ready next week, which...
Mullins might be done for the year.
Yeah, I don't know what's
Many
up with
people
him.
haven't said that, but I think he's done for the year, because... If he's not done for the year, then why do you make this trade for Dobbs? Because you could just go on the street and sign Colt McCoy to stand and be your backup quarterback if you really wanted to.
Yeah,
but they made this trade because they know something else.
And I'm pretty sure 99.9% of the Vikings fans do not want Sean Mannion to have an opportunity to...
I don't even know why he's on the practice squad. I think he can thank Kirk Cousins for that.
Kirk likes him.
Because Sean Mannion had no ties to Kwesi or KO. And he's still here. I don't get it.
Yeah, I wonder if Mannion was in L.A. when O'Connell was there. That could be why.
No, because when he was in there, KO was in Washington.
Okay. Yeah.
And Kwesi's never been on a team that Mannion's been on.
Yeah, it was definitely a Kirk move then.
It has to be.
Yeah. Well, but back to Brandon Powell. Powell is... And you can clearly see why the Vikings took him over Reagor in training camp. Dude is just explosive, and he's tough. And
he makes smart decisions.
Oh,
I feel like Reagor last year made dumb decisions. The Colts game, he made 2 awful decisions. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Powell's a smart player. The one knock you can do on Powell is the Philly game.
Yeah.
Where he dropped the punt. That's all he did. You can't window covered up or anything. He just dropped the ball. It was terrible. Mm-hmm. But now he's kind of redeemed himself, especially with 18 out, how much he's stepped up. And now next week he might get a more impactful role, even though Jefferson's coming back, because he'll be running the wide receiver 3 routes. Because I think this will be officially, if KJ doesn't play, this will be the week where Addison officially leapfrogs KJ in the depth chart, because I still think that KJ's been running the second routes when Jefferson's healthy, but I feel like now when Jefferson comes back, he'll obviously take the X routes, and I think Addison will run the Y, would you say?
Yeah, I think...
and then Powell will be the Z,
or
something like that.
After these last 4 weeks, Addison has definitely proved that he needs to be the guy aside of Jefferson, not behind Jefferson.
No, not at all.
Both of them are capable of being the first read if needed.
Which helps the QB position we're in. That helps a lot. So,
And that doesn't devalue KJ at all. I still think KJ is a very solid receiver. But
this is another one of those things is if KJ can't play next week, which probably won't happen, when you get carted off the field, you definitely have a concussion. When you get knocked out unconscious, you definitely have a concussion. So there's no way around it. But that's where Powell, and if Powell plays good at the 3, you can't take him out.
Yeah.
Like, it's a week-by-week league. You have to go with who's hot, like, every time.
Yeah.
That's why I think that Dobbs will be the quarterback next week, too.
Probably, yeah. And then he'll have Hawkinson, too, and you got 3 guys right there that you can look to. And
What is up, also, to stay in the receiver room, what is up with Jalen Naylor? He warmed up today, but he wasn't active.
Yeah, I think that was just a game-time decision. They probably want to see how he felt. He probably didn't feel 100% and didn't want to go.
So did we have 4 active receivers today?
We had Addison at the start of the game. Addison, Osborne, Powell, Harry, and Tristan Jackson. So 5.
So they ended the game with 4.
Yeah.
Just insane.
Yeah.
And then you lose Akers in the game too. So the skill position and Hawkinson got hurt too.
Yeah.
You were getting really low on skill players.
As a lot of dads around the world would say, we were walking on thin ice for sure.
Oh. Jesus.
Who's our next player?
For positives?
Yeah.
I think you have to go Hawkinson again.
Yeah.
I just feel like he's started to cook. Hawkinson's cooking finally.
Yeah.
It took a little bit, but now I feel like he's starting to earn this contract more and more. And I feel like the quarterback thing, it plays a part in it. I feel like Hawkinson being a big tight end over the middle is a big, nice read for a quarterback that needs it. So that's something I feel like is big. I mean, the one knock he could have made was remember, I think it was in the 4th quarter when he ran like the out route and the guy just punched it away. Like right away, I was like, you got to catch that.
Yeah.
But then you watch the replay and you're like, yeah, you're wrong. That's why you're on the couch.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think Hawkinson is number 2.
Yeah. He at the start of the year definitely had a tough stretch, but over the last 4 weeks, he's definitely played up to that contract, and he's making a lot of tough catches. He's taking pressure off of guys on the outside and just getting open down the middle, and
that's going to help a lot more when Jefferson comes back.
Oh yeah, I mean it's going to be fun when JJ comes back and Dobbs learns things, more plays and everything, and Hall, like you can't give up yet. You just simply cannot, because there's too much fight in this team, and there's guys who are willing to be like, yeah, I'm the next guy up. I'm definitely going to do whatever it takes to win, and I think that all comes down to coaching and just how you want your team to be, And I think that O'Connell really does a good job of having that be a staple inside of our guys' minds, and just, a never giving up mentality. And that clearly showed today with, even Theo Jackson was in today, like our I don't know if he's a 5th or 4th string
he's
safety.
Overseen, so probably the 4th.
Yeah.
I mean, technically the 3rd, because Metellus, he's pretty much a starting linebacker now.
So, yeah, it's awesome to see. And once you get him back, I think things are, if they aren't already ascending, they're going to ascend even higher. And things are going to click.
Where would you... Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I was going to ask, where would you go with the 3rd one? Because I guess you could say Madison, but he didn't play very good because his vision is so bad. It's kind of hard to say anything's good with this game. I mean, I guess he did get in the end zone.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we can sit here and talk about how good Dobbs played, so that's why I don't think we're going to add him to our positives, even though he had a positive outlook.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already touched on him, kind of.
Each and every one of these guys we've talked about, Dobbs bleeds into the conversation. So
I know, but it is what it is. You get what you get. I mean, that's all you can really say, essentially. Yeah.
Yep, here we go.
Best comeback of the day. Yes, sir.
I would say that Jordan Addison definitely is up there.
Yeah, I think you always got to put, him, when Jefferson's healthy, him and Addison and, players like Harrison, Ivan Pace. Those 4 are always in the positives, especially with Ivan Pace. I mean, we talked about him earlier in the year, but he just, every week, he comes in and just keeps improving, which is insane to think about.
Yeah.
The UDFA linebacker who's starting over a guy we thought we had a high promise in Brian Asamoah, who hasn't even been active the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is, like, it's hard to see because, like, everybody was so high on Asamoah, and then he just got outworked in camp.
Yeah.
And you can't hate it because a UDFA is going to work harder than most guys on the team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ivan Pace, one play today, he was blitzing and he took on 2 offensive linemen and blew right through them. Like, I'm so impressed every single week with how he performs and his effort and his overall toughness and play and how quick he is. And he's always gonna have a chip on his shoulder for his size and how he went undrafted and just the path that he had to take to get to where he is now. It's just incredible. And
they said he was too small, but now he's taking on double teams in the best football league in the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
So,
and then another positive you can go is Harrison, just because. I mean, but like I just said that we weren't gonna like talk about him, but like it's kind of too good to talk about. Like Ivan Pace played so well today. Hitman has, as of late, ever since we called him out and said he might be washed, he's really
he must have taken a look at this.
He's really turned it on. Guys like blanking on his name. I just said his name. Oh, Josh Metellus. He's good. Byron Murphy and Caleb Evans, they played okay today.
Yeah. Byron had a pick and Caleb Evans had a forced fumble. So
I mean, I feel like you could just say the biggest positive the last 4 weeks has been Brian Flores.
Oh yeah,
because he is cooking right now.
Uh-huh.
The stuff he's cooking up is like insane.
Yeah,
like it feels like at the beginning of the year, it felt like more we would send all these guys to pressure and we would never get pressure. But it feels like now we're finally starting to get some pressure, and our secondary is holding on as much as they can. And I feel like the pressure's finally starting to marriage with the secondary, because I think the secondary is probably the weakest. Not even the secondary. The cornerback room is the worst position group on the team. And I'm comfortable saying that. I think you would agree as well.
Yeah, but they're not even that far behind.
No, but I also think another big positive is Mekhi Blackman's going to be a steal. He is going to be so good.
Yeah.
Just the way he hasn't, like every week his snaps increase, and every single time he looks good. He's like at the ball. He's where he's supposed to be, which is good. He's probably our slot corner of the future, I'd say.
Yeah, he's improving really well, and I feel comfortable with him in man coverage for the foreseeable future. And just having those 3 guys, I have a lot of confidence in them. Yeah, they're going to have situations where sometimes we're in zone and it's not going to benefit them, and that's just a learning process as we go. But, all of them played, I'd say, pretty solid today. I mean, even against, you could say that the Falcons didn't have Drake London and that they had a receiving corps full of Walmart employees.
Well, they had Van Jefferson.
Yeah,
Isaiah Hodgins.
Yeah, so I mean, they weren't. The Falcons receivers weren't horrible, but it definitely helps when you don't have to guard.
I mean, honestly, like now though, you can't really talk about injuries with Vikings football,
right?
Because we're losing guys left and right.
Yeah, but.
I mean, Mekhi Blackman, I think now I know why that they cut that JoJo Williams, or why he's on the practice squad and Mekhi Blackman's on the big roster and he's playing impactful downs. Like, I'm honestly, the more and more the season's played out, Quasey's kind of hit on a couple of defensive draft picks or defensive signings / draft picks, because Jaquelin Roy played today. He played pretty well. And he didn't play as much as we thought he was going to play. I thought he was going to play more.
Yeah, Jaquelin Roy, it seems like every game he's got that one play where he...
Like the run play in the fourth quarter where he just blew it up. And you're like, well, why doesn't that guy play more? And then you just scratch your head. And I mean, like Andre Carter, the other kid we touched on, we've talked about him for a while.
Yeah.
He's been impactful. He doesn't play a lot, but when he plays, you can feel the pressure.
Yeah, he gets pressures. Yeah. One guy also, DJ Wanham, as of lately, he's been playing really well. Usually a guy who would only really get sacks on stunts now is able to take on double teams and create pressure. And just his progress, especially in a contract year. I mean, he's been playing really well in the absence of Davenport. So.
Now I see why they traded Za'Darius. Because I'm comfortable with that trade because Za'Darius hasn't done really anything in Cleveland.
Haven't heard his name.
And Wanham's turned it up.
Yeah.
And so is Hunter. Hunter's played better this year than he did last year.
Yeah.
So it's good to see. I mean, this is what you're going to have to do. Because the defense is going to have to be the heart and soul of this team right now. Like you're going to have, like Kevin O'Connell's going to have to emphasize defense more. Like I know he's an offensive coach, but he still has to put the defense in first because the defense is the healthier side of the ball. Our offense is in and out with injuries and stuff, so it's hard to see because Darrisaw's missed a couple games already. Jefferson's missed a chunk of games. Akers looks like he's done for the year. Obviously, Kirko's done for the year. Like, there's a lot of injuries. I mean, granted, like 3 weeks ago, Ezra Cleveland was our starting left guard, and now he's in Jacksonville.
Yeah, a lot can change. But we're getting guys back.
Which is big. We just got to keep going. Like I said, though, the defense is really the reason we've gone on this 4-game win streak. Because last week in Green Bay, Kirk gets hurt, and the offense kind of just lays over.
Yeah.
And the defense still had it turned up, and they had it turned up all day today, too.
Yeah, very impressed. Love B-Flow. Hopefully he sticks around.
I think he will, just because of the slow start. We've touched on it last week, but I think that it's kind of hard. There's not going to be that many openings either, as of right now. Only one coach has gotten fired. But
yeah.
I mean, like the Giants, they're bad, but Brian Daboll's going to stay. They're not going to fire him after.
Won Coach of the Year last year,
Beat the Vikings in the playoffs.
Yep. So yeah, maybe. I mean, I would love it if B-Flow would stay because I feel that, I mean, I don't want to look towards next year and say like that's the best time we can win because we can win now. We can win right now.
It's football.
Yeah, you never know who can win, but it would be nice if he would, just stay with these young guys and bring in whoever he needs to next year and just keep ascending with the guys that he has right now because this defense can turn into a top 10 defense.
Oh, for sure.
And I mean they're on the outskirts right now.
If you think about it, like they got their big players' names in Daniil and Harrison. And you got the dogs like Ivan Pace and Jordan Hicks has played well recently too. I know me and you both were like, why don't we just run with the two rookies, or not rookies, but the two young guys and Pace and Asamoah, and Hicks has kind of made us eat our words because he's played well. Like that PBU he had today was huge.
Yeah.
And he had 11 tackles again today. So, I mean, the linebacking core is a very strong group.
Yeah, I'd say the only thing for Jordan Hicks today, other than the PBU, I mean, it was tough for him in coverage today, but I feel that he wasn't horrible by any means.
But that's the one. There's position group is strong, but that's where they really are very good in coverage. That's Asamoah could help a little bit there, but he hasn't been active, so it kind of hurts.
Yeah, I mean, man, that sucks. Because I want Brian Asamoah. I mean, he played a little bit last year, played pretty well. I mean. Obviously,
I honestly just don't get it because like last year, we'd have to make plays for him. Like we made a whole package so he's in the game with Kendricks.
Yeah.
And it's like now he's not even. He's like I know he's injured right now, but now he's not even like getting. He's not even like active or he's not even getting reps. He's a special teams ace.
Yeah.
Same with like Lewis Seen. Like where the hell has he been? Like those two are like supposed to be like the two aces of last year's draft and. Neither one has shown up.
Yeah.
Or 2 years ago's draft. I'm sorry.
Right. Booth. He's gone.
Booth. Yeah.
Booth's
I guess I thought
right.
Booth was gonna play more today too.
That's what I thought, but
he's a Georgia kid coming back home, and he didn't really do anything.
Yeah. That's all right. Do we have any other positives? I mean, I think it was a really good team win.
Honestly, we can't. I think this is KO's best coach game in his 20-something games he's coached here. I really think that he turned it up. And you could tell he was in, like, the teaching mode all day because even when Hall was still in the game, like, he would come over and KO would be telling him something. And, like, Dobbs, like, I know he was, like, every time he'd come to the sidelines, the first person he'd be talking to was Kevin O'Connell. And I think later on, when Kirk's back on the sidelines, that'll be a big thing because Kirk will coach a lot of, like, the two guys we have now. Kirk will help coach a lot, which will be huge because you'll have, coming off the field, you'll have KO or when Kirk's back, KO can just turn it over to Kirk, and Kirk can just coach him up, and KO can manage the game. Because I know that's not been his strong suit this year, but I think KO is another positive. I think the whole coaching staff, because Keenan McCardell, you can't not talk about him. He's a great receivers coach.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, KOC, B-Flow, Keenan McCardell, Chris Cooper with the offensive line. I mean, all of them have done a superior job just unifying this entire group together and just playing very well on both sides of the spectrum. And one guy, actually, I think the only negative I have is the special teams. I think Matt Daniels hasn't really done a great job this year.
I think last year was better, but Ryan Wright's had a down year.
Yeah.
Greg Joseph, he can't be the kicker next year. It's just plain and simple. At the end of the game, you score that game-winning touchdown. I thought for sure he was going to miss the extra point, just because it's that's the most Minnesota thing to happen is we get on the guy we got here and we're winning now, and it's there's so much pressure on that. We were down by 4, right? So we couldn't kick the field goal. We needed to score a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Even that, if we were down by 3, I wouldn't have had any faith in Joseph. That's a special teams thing.
Yeah, and you don't want to put your kicker in that position either way to tie the game or anything like that. One guy, however, I think we should sign is Destroying because
Cam.
Yes, just hear me out.
Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
It's not, because it would be great, right? He's got a leg. He can punt as well. I mean, him and Jefferson already got a great relationship.
So you're gonna cut Ryan Wright and Greg Joseph?
No, just one. I would keep Ryan Wright because I feel that Greg Joseph is very inconsistent, and I don't think that he's someone that you can rely on.
We just need to find a kicker like Evan McPherson or Tyler Bass or Daniel Carlson, guys like that. We just need to find one and let him be our kicker for 20 years.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying he's
the
already.
The fact that Greg Joseph has made it this far is a joke. I don't get why they didn't bring back Kai Forbath in 2017 because he was good.
Yeah.
Then they cut him, and then they got
Dan
Carlson
Bailey
for 2 games. And they got Dan Bailey, and then it's been Joseph ever since, right?
I think so.
In 2021.
Yeah.
No, he's been here longer than 21.
3 years.
Maybe. I don't know. He's been here far too long, that's for sure. But I'm just saying, Destroying had an unofficial tour of everything that we have to offer.
He's a YouTuber.
We put him in. Hey.
He can just go to the NFL.
Yes, he can. He played college football for 1 year.
Okay.
I'm just
we
saying.
got to get off this topic.
Bring him in a tryout. I'm just saying. That's
Negatives? You want to go to negatives now?
all. Negatives.
There's not. I don't have a negative.
It's not many. It's just,
I physically don't have a negative. Except for every week I say this, Alexander Madison's vision is terrible.
Yeah.
Every single week. And now if Akers is for real done for the year, we are screwed in the running game because we need a running game with the QB situation. You need to run the ball to set up the throw now. You can't just drop back 40 times a game like you used to be able to with Kirk. You have to have more of a base. I'm sorry, Bryce Young just threw another interception. He is bad. I don't want to say he's that bad because we talked bad about one quarterback, and some people don't agree. But yeah, Alexander Madison's vision just is not there. Cam, you want to touch on it?
Yeah, I mean, he sees one thing, but then he also sees another, and he gets very indecisive of what hole he needs to take. And sometimes you just got to get north and south, and instead of east and west. And his inability to have that burst out of the backfield like Akers has really, really doesn't help us out in the situations that we needed. I mean, it seemed like every 1st and 10, you knew that it was going to be 2nd and 11 or 12 after that. And maybe it's not fully his fault. The line got destroyed today by their front 7.
Which is good. It's a good front 7. We can't take credit away from them. They didn't even have Grady Jarrett. The guy they got from the Eagles play? They traded for a defensive lineman from the Eagles at the trade deadline. Did he play or not?
I don't know.
I think his name is Street or something.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
I don't think he did.
All I know is they just have a really good front seven, and yeah, I get it that the line may have done not so much of a great job as far as run blocking, but still, I mean, you got to find ways to help out your offensive line, and I just don't think Madison has been doing that as of lately, because you can really tell the difference between the two when Akers is able to get that separation.
I will say this: so you want to bring in a hypothetical? Let's sign AP.
What's that going to fix?
If Akers is done for the year, bring AP home.
AP is like 37 or 38.
He's got decent vision.
He has no speed.
Oh, okay, so I have to accept that Destroying is going to be the Vikings kicker in 2 weeks, but the future Hall of Famer, probably one of the best running backs in Vikings history, I say bring a reunion, and you hate the idea. Okay.
Because it's not going to... It's... No.
Okay.
No.
And let's sign the Jones kid. I used to play for the Bucs.
Ronald Jones? I don't know.
I mean, because Dwayne McBride's not good. I mean, I guess you can roll with in-house guys like Kane, Ty Chandler.
I don't think we need to
Nick
worry
Sirianni.
about...
No, not Nick Sirianni. I hate you, Nick Sirianni. He was showing on the TV screen, and I hate him. An amount of anger that goes into my mind whenever he's on the TV screen is very high. Like the Eagles game, my blood pressure was very high because they'd show his dumb face like 6 times every time they'd have the ball.
Yeah, I don't think we need to...
I mean, I was going to say Ty Chandler, Kane, and Madison. In-house.
That's fine.
Sign somebody. AP. Mentor. Maybe AP can come in here and be like, Madison, your vision sucks. I'll show you how to do it.
Yeah.
And against Detroit on Christmas Eve, he can run for 300 yards and break his own record. Just saying. You wouldn't love that? That would be awesome.
But that's also like a fantasy world. Now, my prediction is probably... Okay, I'm not going to say mine's not a fantasy prediction either, but AP's not going to run for 300 yards at 38 years old.
Let's just say this. They're both the same possibilities.
Yeah.
So mine sounds a little bit more outrageous, but mine would be sweet, and you couldn't lie. You know how happy you would be, Cam, Christmas Eve? We're driving back from the game, or we're sitting here filming another podcast, and we're like, yeah, AP just did that on Christmas Eve, and then tomorrow it's Christmas. Like, greatest 24-hour window of the year.
I suppose. That would mean he'd have to start, too. And we'd have to give him the ball a lot.
Which is fine. We're good.
Like, when AP broke that record, Brooks Bollinger was the quarterback. So... No, it wasn't a high-tier quarterback.
Okay, sorry. Josh Dobbs is a high-tier quarterback now.
I think he's better than Brooks Bollinger.
Well,
also,
probably.
look at the weapons we have.
I know.
Oh my God, that got flipped.
Maybe it's a dumb idea, okay?
I'm not saying it is. Did I ever say that?
Nope.
Nope.
You just said destroying, so I'm like, I'll put up a funny hypothetical on this podcast.
Yeah, it could happen. You know how sick that'd be?
Yeah, dude. And then Destroying would kick like a 56-yard field goal to win the game after AP is 300 yards. That'd be sweet.
See, I like that combination.
See, dude?
Yeah. Your hands are cold.
Yeah. It's cold in here.
Yeah. Ooh, Schoon from Michigan. Yeah, well, I don't really have any other negatives.
I don't really have anything else really to touch on.
Yeah, I think this was more of an uplifting episode.
Uplifting to a point.
To a point. Because we lost Akers.
Might have lost KJ for a while.
Yeah, and Hall. Yeah. But we march on. We win no matter what. 5 and 4. And
yeah, I guess I don't really know.
5 and 4.
We say this every week. Skull. I mean, we gotta keep going. Keep
5 and 4.
Along.
Who's next? New Orleans. That's a win.
Didn't I do that last week?
You did that with the Philly game.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's next? Yeah, because the Bucs game. Next? Remember the Bucs game?
Yep, I do remember.
You were like, yeah, we're gonna go in there, we're gonna win, and then we lost.
Yep, I was wrong.
And then was Philly, and we almost beat Philly, but dumb rule.
And the Chargers. Yeah.
Chargers.
And then Carolina.
That's the thing, though. Like, so Kirk gets hurt. You know, obviously. Would you have rather had it be the first game against the Bucs? Or would you have rather, like, if let's just say like in August, a genie came to our house and said, Kirk's going to get seriously hurt this year. Would you rather have it game 1 or game 8? What would you pick?
I would say probably game. Oh my God, I don't know. Cause like probably game 1.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. Cause then by then we know if we're good or not. But like now, Kirk just absolutely balled out for 7.5 weeks, and now he's done. And now week 9 beyond, we have to figure out what we're gonna do. Where week 1 by this time, if he was injured week 1, we'd already have an understanding if Jaren Hall's him, or if Nick Mullins is a capable backup, or if Sean Mannion's in the MVP conversation.
Yeah.
Like we would understand all that by now.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely help you get a better outlook of how things would be. But hey, I'm not mad with how things are right now. And
now, after 1 week of post Kirk, I'm still right in the middle.
Yeah.
I don't think you can get too high or too low based on this because you're not expecting to win. Like you're going to be probably underdogs in almost all of the remaining games, I would say.
Yeah.
Because even if you go to like Denver or Vegas, they have their option. I mean, if something changes, but they have even Cincinnati, like they have their preferred quarterback, where you're running on essentially your third and fourth quarterbacks of the year.
Yeah.
So like that's a big thing in football, but I feel like in 4 weeks we'll really know who's the quarterback and if they're good or not. We might even know if both of them are good or not. I think that the rest of the year they're gonna really be underdogs for the majority of the year.
Yeah, definitely. We were today. We were we were plus 4.5, today. So
I should have taken that. We didn't even cover. Never mind. I shouldn't have taken it.
Well, I mean, we won, so it would have. The Falcons were in minus 4.5.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm dumb sometimes. Most of the time. More all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have. I mean, I'm curious to see what like a line against Vegas would be and Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Because I feel like next week, we might be home dogs next week versus the Saints. I bet we open as dogs.
Probably.
Because they just won, and we don't know who's going to start next week again.
That's true.
I bet we open as dogs.
Yeah.
We might come back and be favored by a point or a point and a half, but I bet we open as dogs.
Mm-hmm.
But then by Cincy, I think like the Cincy and Vegas games after the bye, we'll have an understanding of what we have at quarterback. Not at quarterback, so we might have a more understanding of like Cincy will be a 4-point underdog, where like now we'd probably be like an 8-point underdog, 7-point underdog.
Yeah.
I think lines will start to flip after the bye.
Yep.
And I think that does it for today's episode. Cam, you have anything to touch on?
Yeah, we have social media accounts. TikTok, Bold North Sports Podcast, and Instagram, Twitter, and that's it, I think, for just Bold North Sports. Clips on TikTok, clips on Reels. You can find our audio podcasts on Spotify and Apple Music.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, that's it.
Skull.
Skull.
And hit him with the dice roll.